And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Hey everyone and welcome. As you may be aware, a video is doing the rounds on the social medias regarding a speech given in the Houses of Parliament by one of the new Conservative MPs from the Red Wall. This time the gentleman in question, everyone, is an MP that represents Rotherham Valley, which is in Rotherham. We all know what that is. Which is in one of the towns of shame due to council, police, care staff and all their leaders for hiding grooming gangs on a massive scale. The MP, we'll have a quick run through and let you know who he is called Alexander Stafford. He was voted into office in 2019 general election and he's the first ever Tory to win the seat in Rotherham Valley in its 101-year history. So well done. Obviously the people of Rotherham Valley have seen through Labour's inability to protect them and their families and have voted them out. Now Alexander grew up in Ealing, so he's not a Rotherham local, but he does seem to have his finger on the pulse. His grandmother was a Polish East German refugee and his grandfather was a Polish Ukraine who spent time in the Siberian gulags. So they've been through some roughness as well. As soon as they got to the UK though, his granddad volunteered to serve in the British Army. So he integrated and embraced the British lifestyle so much he felt the need to defend it. I wish it was the case like that nowadays. Now it seems you don't even need to contribute anything. Alex, the MP, is also a Leave campaigner. He states Maggie Thatcher as his political idol, who he said, and I quote, was a strong leader who saved the country from where it was headed. Now he's not a Thatcher worshipper, by the way, and acknowledges that she did make mistakes, and she did. He said, in the 1980s under Thatcher, the closure of the coal mines, there was a cliff edge, a cut-off that created lots of social problems and economic problems. We need to manage the transition better. We can't leave anyone behind. I'm liking the new breed of Conservatives, everyone. I don't know about yourselves, but they all seem to be economically minded, very conservative, but have the working class roots. We need a little bit more, in my honest opinion. And lastly, in a Prime Minister's questions in 2021, he was described as, I like this one the most, a proper old school law and order Tory, tough on crime and antisocial behaviour. He'll do for me. Now let's watch what he says, everyone, as he smashes the agenda of these grooming gang areas. This is perfection and shows this man as minerals. Long may it continue.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's impossible to discuss these so-called grooming gangs without talking about the most infamous epicentre of abuse. We all recall the widespread atrocities that occurred in the Rotherham region, of which my constituency, Rotherham Valley, is part of. What happened there is a mark of shame that we as a nation shall all bear until every single perpetrator and enabler faces justice. But let's not just call them grooming gangs. Let's call them out for what they are. They're paedophiles, rapists, abusers, deviant, perverts, and above all, they are monsters. Over 2 decades, in Rotherham alone, 1,500 children, some as young as 11, were raped. Let that sink in. 1,500 children in one town were raped. However, it did not have to be this way. What makes this pattern of abuse all the more outrageous is the silent complicity of the local authorities who are supposed to protect us and our children. Time and time again, the issue was raised at all levels. Victims and concerned parties reached out to the council, the police, and all relevant bodies. Repeatedly, these victims were not only ignored, but actually vilified. Unbelievably, in some cases, they were even given over to their attackers, and they were arrested for actions they had not freely committed. The signs were there for all to see, and yet they were ignored for decades. So why was there a cover-up? Because it was a cover-up. The J report stated the agencies turned a blind eye to the localised grooming of young white girls by hundreds and hundreds of men of Pakistani heritage, and a 5-year investigation by the Independent Office for Police Conduct found that the Rotherham Police ignored the sexual abuse of children for decades for fear of, and I quote, increasing racial tensions. Whistleblowers were given the cold shoulder, and council employees lived in fear of being called racist for intervening. And this begs the question, if the police and local authorities won't stand up for the right and wrong, what chance does anyone have? What chance do our children have? Ethnicity and concerns should not have made a jot of difference. A monster is a monster, regardless of their background or ethnicity. But it was this excuse that allowed so many to get away with so much for so long. The authorities' aversion to offending sensitivities enabled so much suffering. Let me repeat that. The aversion of offending sensitivities allowed thousands of girls to be raped. Nevertheless, we must try and move forward for the sake of the victims, their families, and also for the people of Rotherham at large. We all need justice and accountability. Operation Stovewood is making great strides and is currently looking at 1,200 recorded crimes, with 261 designated suspects. We must also ensure that we look after the victims. For instance, Sammy Woodhouse, a brave survivor and one of my constituents, has proposed Sammy's Law, which would pardon child sexual abuse victims for crimes they were coerced into committing, and would also remove the crimes committed by the children from their criminal records. We must support this. This government must put this law into action. To me, this is just one way that we must try and right the wrongs of the past. But we must leave no stone unturned when it comes to the victims. But we also must look at those who enabled it, that allowed them to get away with it, who covered it up, who ignored it for so long. Because, Madam Deputy Speaker, I believe there's no individual crime more horrific than paedophilia, and there is no punishment too severe for the perpetrators of these heinous acts. We must never again allow such things to happen to our children, and we must never again allow those that permitted and enabled such monstrous acts to hold any authority in our society.
Not much you can add to that other than, yes, you saw that right. This guy has a YouTube channel as well. I'll link it in the comments and description and pin it for you, everyone. Go and check out his channel. I presume it means that you will be able to contact him through his videos. So I don't know if it's a good thing to have an MP with a YouTube channel, but we'll see. But go and have a look anyway. In regards to the video, everyone, please share this. Not for me, but to continue the pressure on the government. To, like Alex says, ensure that every perpetrator and every enabler faces justice. For the victims we fight, save our children. But anyway, I'd like to know your opinion. What did you think of his speech? Did you think he was bang on the money? Do you think he could have added more? Let me know what you think in the comments, everyone. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon. That way you'll be notified of any new videos. Check out my second channel as well, everyone. There will be a lot more videos going on there soon. Stay sane and I'll see you on the next one.